A sermon for Monday in Holy Week. The word love can mean lots of different things. We love our families, we love to watch television, we love our work, our hobbies. But loving God is a different sort of love altogether. Jesus commands us to love God with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our strength, to love God unconditionally and completely. In our reading, we see the love of God being expressed in many different ways. By Martha serving at the table, she was a practical woman and showed her love through the work of her hands. Martha was always honest with Jesus and exercised extraordinary faith when she identifies Jesus as the Son of God and believed in his ability to do something to help her brother Lazarus. She'd been criticized for being too taken up with preparations, that she missed the close fellowship with Jesus that her sister and brother enjoyed. But she did not leave off serving, as some might, who, when found fault with for going too far one way, might run too far another. She still served, but within hearing of Jesus' word. Martha was a loyal disciple of Jesus who loved him with ardour and zeal. She gave her token of love to Christ, who had given real tokens of his love to her and her family. Then there's Lazarus, reclining at the table, eager to enjoy Jesus' company and absorb his teaching. He'd been used by God to evoke faith in others. Lazarus' life was now firmly linked with that of Jesus. He too would attract crowds and bring people to God. Lazarus showed his love for God by accepting the cross handed to him when he was brought back to life, to be a living witness to the power and truth about Jesus. Like Jesus, he too would become a target for those who wish to hinder the effect of God's miracle. Then there's Mary, a woman with deep personal commitment and faith in Jesus, who fell at his feet in worship and adoration, who came and poured expensive perfume over them, wiped them with her hair. Here we see love's extravagance. She took the most precious thing that she possessed, spent it all on Jesus. Mary's love gives all. Her regret is that she has no more to give. We see her humility. Oil is usually poured onto someone's head, but she never dreamed she would be good enough for that. She wasn't worried about what others thought. And we see her unselfish consciousness. In Palestine, no respectable woman would ever undo her hair in public, and usually a slave rather than a friend attended to cleaning of guests' feet. To her, the cost of these acts was irrelevant. The fragrance of this gift, this generous gift, fills the house with far more than a sweet smell. It brought a warm, pervasive glow of love. Mary is giving her best in preparing for his coming death. And finally, there is Jesus himself, the willing guest, always ready to give and to receive, even in the last week of his life. He puts aside the thoughts of his own suffering and death, accepts the offer of a meal, continues the work of the Father, sharing his time with those who are to witness after him. Jesus offers his love and trust to all, even those he knows would deceive him. Judas, who is skillful in handing money, is given charge over the common purse, even though he knew he was a thief. Often temptation strikes us through our gifts. And then there is the response to Mary's gift, recognizing the true worth of her giving. Care for the poor is important, but here are times when the lavish worship of God is more important. The world needs both generosity and extravagance, showing love to the poor, the neighbour in need, as well as showing love to God in an action of worship. Here we see 4 examples of love offered for the glory of God, which best describes your love for Christ. Are you a willing servant, the attentive listener and witness, the lavish worshipper, the carer ready to meet all and give and receive in his name? God commands us all to be all of these, to be like his Son, who served, witnessed, worshipped and cared, who gave everything, even his life, unconditionally, completely, for the glory of the Father and for the salvation of all. May the love of the Lord Jesus draw us to himself, the power of the Lord Jesus strengthen us in his service, and the joy of the Lord Jesus fill our hearts. Amen.